When I was living full-time in a van before the pandemic, I visited San Diego, a place where it was common to find people living in their cars. The city's year-round warm weather facilitated a booming community who lived in vans and RVs as a lifestyle choice. At the same time, a housing shortage and high rent prices forced others to live in their vehicles because they had nowhere else to turn. These groups regularly share the same spaces, despite their differences, and lines between them were often blurred. They all lived with wheels beneath them in public lots and along seaside streets, but for many, privilege was a great, and often hidden, divider. As vanlife has grown in popularity throughout the country, those who live in vehicles out of necessity, particularly older people, can be overlooked and forgotten. Nomadland, a new feature film about hard-up baby boomers forced to take to the open road after the 2008 financial crash, grants them an overdue moment of recognition. The movie follows Fern, played by Frances McDormand, a widow in her 60s who resides in an old van, which she uses to find seasonal work around the country. Fern once worked for the U.S. Gypsum Corporation in Empire, Nevada, before the company went bust, leaving Empire a ghost town. With little or no savings, she moved into her ride. Photo, courtesy Searchlight Pictures. While on the road, Fern meets others who are trying to make the best of their lives' tumultuous third act, trudging over the shards of what's left of a crumbling American dream. She attends an event called the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous in Arizona, where she meets Bob Wells, played by the man himself, a YouTube personality who's a legend in the real-life van-dwelling community. Fern is but another workhorse, as Wells describes people like her, willing to work itself to death and then be put out to pasture. To survive, they must stick together. That's what this is all about, Wells says of the gathering, where attendees teach others the basics of road life, how to maintain their vans, find safe places to sleep, and build their own toilets. Fern is our era's forgotten woman. She is past middle age, living alone and still working, with no hope for retirement in sight. When we meet her, she has a job at an Amazon fulfillment warehouse and lives in an RV park paid for by the company. When her work contract expires in wintertime, along with the stipend she gets from Amazon to rent the space, she has to move. She takes odd jobs around the country, polishing rocks at a mineral shop, swabbing toilets as a camp host, grilling burgers in a cafe, and harvesting sugar beets. Like many Americans her age, Fern built her life around a single company that she relied on for everything: income, housing, health insurance, and security. At once, it all disappeared. Anyone who's ever lost their job knows the utter helplessness you feel when you're suddenly responsible for the benefits you once outsourced to a company.